Welcome to Storytime at the Roo Bus, a weekly podcast for the festival community. I'm Charla.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Brooklyn.
And I'm Michael.
Hey, Mike, you're back. You were here 2 weeks ago, but by circumstance, you're here at my house, so we thought we would just have you on again.
I am the aloe guy, yes.
All right, you have graduated. You are no longer just the aloe guy, because we had an experience together in Atlanta, a couple days ago, about a week ago, whatever it was?
Yes, it was quite the time.
Do you remember most of it?
Yes, it was quite a trip, but Tame Impala tends to blow people's minds.
Yeah.
So
I thought I was going to be very jealous of you because you were down on the floor. I was 3 rows back in like the first section, kind of behind you, but I was still able to see all the lasers and everything just well. But you were like right in the thick of it, right? Yeah,
I was about maybe 15, 20 feet away from the pit, but personally, I don't think there was probably a bad view in the entire arena. It was beautiful.
No,
so.
Charlotte was sitting there with me, and she was joking that the people in the very back would probably have a good view because they could see all the lasers and lights very well and everything.
Absolutely. That's how I felt whenever I saw Tame in 2019. I had a chance to be close to the rail, but I decided to venture back and see what it looked like from the back, But this time around, I wanted to get up close and see what things were like.
This one was a little bit of a different experience for me because even though I was still pretty close, I was about like half of a football field away from Kevin and them. It was the furthest back that I've been at a Tame show. I've always been about like maybe 10 rows back at the 2 shows that I've seen before. So this was fun in that I could actually see the lasers and lights better than I had before when I was like super close, which I still would have liked to have been down there with you. I missed out on getting the GA tickets, but that was fun being able to see it a little bit differently. And I'm not heartbroken because I'll get to see him up close again sooner or later, no matter where it is. Yeah.
I'm just blown away at the sound production, the laser production. It takes a full scale. I realized whenever the alien spaceship thing was coming
the
down,
big circle.
I realized when that was coming down, I said, okay, yeah, no, there's hundreds of hands at work for this. When Kevin was thanking the truck drivers, and
he said thank you to the bus driver. Yeah. So I freaked out.
I knew good and well right then and there. I was like, yeah, this is a 100-hand job. This is quite the task to put on.
I saw a photo from Chicago where they started the tour. They should have started it with us, but whatever. It was him and the rest of the band standing in front of all the trucks that had all their, gear and everything. It was at least like 6 different semi-trucks that had like the fake pharmaceutical company. Yeah. That's kind of like the weird deal.
Ionwell.
Yeah, Ionwell. Is that how you say it?
Ionwell. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So you and I first met up at that show in the merch line. And it was kind of weird because apparently it was the sponsor of like all the merch. They had some banners up. There's a picture of me and you standing in front of one. Yeah.
They had people in lab coats. I walked up and I was like, I love your lab coat. And he turns around and he's like, have you taken your Rushium today?
Yes, they gave me one too.
I'm like, no, I have not. And I'm over here like, they're not giving out drugs at this event.
No, they were. It was totally drugs, but it was vitamin B.
It was B12. Yeah. I was told that I should have taken it about 30 minutes before showtime, but I saved mine, so I guess I'll take it next time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there was stuff mentioned within the show about that, but we should not talk about it because there's still people that are planning on seeing them.
Yeah.
Like an outside.
Spoiler alert.
They still they're off for about a month now, but then they're going to play Outside Lands and then the Hollywood Bowl. And then a couple of Texas shows.
2 nights at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, 2 nights at the Hollywood Bowl. Dude, I'm tempted to. Part of me is tempted to buy a ticket and go see him at one of those California or Texas shows. I don't know if I can get away with that.
I would love to go to Austin, Texas, or something. I must have.
Yeah, part of me in the back of my mind is considering it, but I know that we'll get to see him again sooner or later. Maybe next. Okay, we were just talking about this over a glass of wine and a game of Uno just a few minutes ago. But okay, Tame had to delay their New Zealand and Australia shows. Do you think there's a chance that they might have some more American shows or American festivals next year?
I think they could definitely make their way back. It just depends on how long the European tour is, probably.
Yeah. You told me that they're playing in Spain next year?
Yes, it's a festival. It's like a multi-weekend festival called Primavera.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. It sounds awesome.
Yeah. I think we were talking the other night about how Europeans are just more immersed in live music almost.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I saw Tame Impala's name on there maybe 2 or 3 times on the bill.
Yeah.
So I
think they played there before. But yeah, you're right. It's not just European shows where fans are more into it. Charlotte and I were very lucky to be able to go see Glass Animals in Australia just a couple of months before the pandemic hit. And that struck me there, that like people that go to shows are just like way more into it. Everybody knows all the lyrics, and everybody's even singing along with like more of the instrumental parts, you know?
Most definitely.
But yeah. But yes, I'm so glad you were there. And I'm so happy that we met so many other Roovians. Charlotte, how many people were there? About a dozen at our meetup before?
Yeah, there was about a dozen people there.
Yeah, and thanks so much to everybody that brought something to share with everybody. We had a guy bring out a free King of Pops for everybody.
Yeah, it was great. And there was somebody that brought a bunch of pins to share. I mean, just total Roo community.
We got some gifts for us, too. I was so thankful. You got a space flag that kind of had like a spaceman on it.
No, he brought that for you for your birthday.
Oh, that was my birthday? Yeah, well, that's going to go on the canopies that hang out outside the bus. But yeah, that was so cool to have just a little bit of Bonnaroo both before and after that show, kind of in that grassy area right next to the State Farm Arena. You weren't there at the first one before the show, but you were hanging out with us in the days afterwards.
We were trying to get our shit together, quite frankly, before leading into it, and my buddy was not prepared, and I don't think anybody was prepared for the mind-blowing powers of Kevin Parker.
I'm going to sell you out a little bit. Like, you were like kind of dancing around, and I goaded you into like jumping onto that Olympic sculpture.
Yeah.
He went through the Olympic ring.
You got to risk it for the biscuit, man. That's kind of how I am pretty much in general. I don't know. I'm not afraid. I don't know. Like, I guess under the influence of
under Tame Impala. Yes,
correct.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to, like, I don't know,
risk it for the biscuit.
Talk to anybody or go do anything, really.
No, you were definitely into anything. Hey, mind your biscuits and life will be gravy. Hey, she had me listening to Casey Musgraves last night.
Hey, we were listening to her on the way here. Yeah.
Oh, she's been. What's gotten you so into Casey Musgraves lately?
I've always liked Casey Musgraves.
Do you like her new album? What's the name of it?
It's not my favorite. I do like one song.
She sounds like she's trying to be The Weeknd a little bit in this new album.
It's just a bunch of sad. It's very poppy, and it's just a bunch of sad breakup songs and like divorce songs.
Yeah, we were listening.
Kind of disappointed.
We were listening to it on the way back from Atlanta the other night, and like, it does sound very much more poppy. And like, Brooklyn was like, "Let me hear a fun, happy song," and she went through the whole album and couldn't find one.
Yeah, I did find one that I like though.
Yeah, that's not going to be your pick of the week later, is it? No, it's not.
I will say I didn't catch much of her set at Bonnaroo 2019, but she played during Golden Hour on I want to say like Friday or Saturday.
Yeah,
and it was pretty magical, and she fell in love with Bonnaroo after that. I think she was talking about it for a good bit.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, we were there. We were waiting in line for a pit. Who were we waiting for that night? I want to say we were waiting in the Lumineers pit.
Odessa?
Was it Odessa? I want to say it was. Did she play on Sunday? Because if it was Sunday, we would have been waiting for the Lumineers show to get in the pit. But yes, I definitely remember that. It was very emotional, especially when she played Rainbow, and the parachute people brought out the Roo shoot right around that time.
She's talked about how she used to go to Bonnaroo like back in the day.
Yeah.
And just has been going to Bonnaroo for like years and years and years, just on her own and stuff. So she's super cool.
I love those stories because we've talked about this before. Paul Janeway from St. Paul and the Broken Bones has had that kind of story before.
Yeah.
He came in as a security guard before he was playing her.
Like a volunteer, yeah.
Being from Birmingham, Alabama, I've actually ran into Paul.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen him pulling out of the Dairy Queen drive-thru. I even confronted him on a Reddit AMA, and I was like, have you ever been to the Trustful Dairy Queen before? And he's like, my mom lives in Trustful, so yes, I frequent it a lot.
The Dairy Queen.
Wow.
I was like, yes, I knew it was him. I was just driving down the road, and I see him pulling out. I'm like, holy shit, was that?
It's Paul. I love him. I mean, there's this weird thing where, like, he looks like he should be, like, a third-grade math teacher, but he happens to, like, be the front man for this awesome soul rock band. Yeah,
beautiful voice.
Well, he's like that in person, too. So, like, we've developed a bit of a relationship with him as well because, like, at first, he kept seeing our totem of Ricky the Cat.
Yeah.
We've seen them play, 5 or 6 shows over the years, and I always happen to have the totem until this last show. I'll tell you about that in a second. And every time he calls it out or he comes over to me to grab it and like joke around with me or give it a kiss or whatever. The last time we saw them was at the Caverns where they had the outdoor amphitheater that they built, because of COVID. And I didn't have the totem because they're pretty strict about that kind of thing. But I had my iPad because they got Wi-Fi in there, and I was just fooling around before the show and stuff. And so I was like, oh, wait, I have a drawing program on here. So I drew the totem and held it up, and he still saw it. I've been meaning to talk to him. Like, I've only been able to talk to him for just a quick second at shows. I want to talk to him in person and find out, like, hey, you've seen my cat totem. Like, I want to tell him the whole story about how it's the past cat, and now we're up to Ricky 3. Ricky 3 is sitting over here with us right now, yeah.
He's so soft.
This is Gotcha Day.
Today is Ricky's Gotcha Day. It was a year ago that Ricky 3, I got him a little present. He has a new collar with pineapples. I thought that was appropriate since he lives in this household. Very much pineapple stuff around here because of glass animals.
Pineapple party.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Were you there when that happened? The pineapple party? Do you know that story?
I've heard tale about it.
It was a shit show, but a fun one. Yeah, for anybody that didn't know, like everybody thought that Glass Animals was going to be playing in one of the barns at Roo because they said pineapple party, and that was right when pork soda was really popular. So they thought they were going to be there, but they did not. It was actually Get Weird that was going to play for us. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've told that before. But hey, I did have something real quick that I want to talk with everybody about before we jump into our picks and other things. I saw that in the past day or two, as of us recording this, that the refunds are finally starting to go out. I saw a number of people on some of the Facebook groups were getting emails, or they were catching it in their online banking that their refunds were going through. I haven't seen it come to my bank yet, but I did get the email saying that we were being refunded for our tickets and our RV pass. Have you seen yours come in yet?
Yeah, well, I haven't got the refund yet, but I have gotten an email about it. So.
Well, I think a lot of people haven't technically gotten it yet because like the emails went out on a Saturday and banks are technically closed.
I was worried that Live Nation was going to pull a fast one and not apply the fees to it, but we're getting everything back.
The fees and the taxes were included. I was pleasantly surprised about that. You know what's funny though? It's like, okay, it's the beginning of October now. It's going to be in about a month and a half when it's time to buy those Black Friday tickets anyways. Yeah. So I'm just setting that aside because I'm like, well, that money's going right back, you know.
Honestly, I mean, I really can't wait. I just want to lay in the grass, honestly. I just really want to just lay in the grass.
You just want to be there and chill?
Yeah, I mean, I want to really just take a day trip up there and just drive around and look, because I've never been up on the grounds when the fest was not going on, and I know a lot of people have done that.
Okay, so you're technically not supposed to, but the unspoken rule is most people don't care. Because most Roovians are just going to take a walk and not really screw with anything or do anything they shouldn't, you know.
I'm somewhat acquaintances with someone in a Bonnaroo Discord server, and his name's Garden Crew, and he's a part of a group that tends to the grounds.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's Robert. He won't care about us talking about him.
And he's always sharing, you know. The last year and a half, he's just like, went on the grounds today, checked some things out.
Yeah.
Everything's looking great. Looks like we're going to be.
Yeah. No, he's
can't
a good
wait to
dude.
be here in, 8 months, 7 months now.
No, he's been very public about that. He sends me photos sometimes, too, when he's there. His name is Robert, and he goes out a couple of times a year to check on the landscaping around Planet Roo. He's in charge of that, and he was telling me about that right before the flood hit everything about a month or so ago, whatever. They had some cool stuff that they were going to do. You know that big hut? Back before your time, it used to be a post office back in the day.
Yeah.
But now it's where they hold like classes and instructional things.
Nice.
Our buddy Brandon went in there one time because they were showing how to make like kombucha or something.
Yeah.
Kombucha.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah, you got some there. But yeah, no, Robert's a good dude. He's been very good to the rest of the regular Roo community to let people know how things are looking on the grounds, and he gives us a head up about things. He's with Planet Roo and the Garden Crew. Is that right, Charlotte?
I don't know if that's the same guy.
Yeah. I didn't have any notes pulled up for this, but I'm pretty sure it's the same dude. He's a very cool guy. So you're a first timer, but you're going to learn all these people eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I stay on the internet a lot, and I'm constantly I'm aware of who people are.
Yeah.
And now I feel a little more immersed, kind of. I mean,
I felt like I was knee deep in everything Bonnaroo, but I didn't even know about this Discord server that you told me about the other day.
I didn't know about it until you mentioned
joined it. I think it was made in 2019, and at the time there were only like 40 or 50 people in it.
Yeah.
And now there's like 400 or 500 people in it.
Can anybody join it?
Yeah, I could send you a
Yeah.
link.
What's the name of it?
It's just here. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you tweet a link and I'll retweet it on the Rebus for people to join.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think Taco's in it, isn't it?
Yeah, Lord Taco's in it.
Taco's in it.
There's a good handful of people in it. I feel like it needs more moderators sometimes, but I mean
well,
doesn't everything.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, me and Brooklyn got to hang with him and some of the Roo crew up in Chattanooga about a week ago. So shout out to Russ / Taco, Zach, Nick. Who else was there?
Not Haley.
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 Yeah.
That's
Haley was there. Was that all the Roovians that were there?
Yeah.
Let's say we didn't have a huge crew like we did over at the Tame Impala thing.
It was our Chattanooga Roo
Yeah, but we finally got to go to the fabled Bitter Alibi over on the hill in Chattanooga.
If you're a Roovian and you live in Chattanooga, we'll tweet out next time we go, and we'll all meet up at the Bitter Alibi.
I like it there because there's a big stone front porch that's good to hang out with because it's open air. You got to be careful about that a little bit nowadays, you know. We went. There was the ding. That was your text for the Discord server. I will tweet that out later. Yeah.
Nice.
Where was that? You distracted me with your links. But yeah, we went bar hopping a little bit. What was the other places we went to in Chattanooga?
The Pickle Barrel.
Yes, that was cool.
I got a good old pickle back there.
Yeah.
Taco did one with me.
I did not.
He didn't like it as much as I did.
Yeah, I don't like pickles.
And then we went to, I forgot the name of that tap room, but it's right around the corner.
Yeah, and we had a really good pizza.
And then we went hiking.
Yeah.
At the Guild Trail.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called.
Oh, no, we should talk about that. That's like that. Okay, so you go a little south of Chattanooga, like you're about to go up the hill towards Lookout Mountain, towards Ruby Falls, and what's the Rock City.
If you know where the Purple Flower Diner thing is, it's like it's like 2 minutes up that mountain from where that is.
If you go about a quarter of the way up that hill, there's a trailhead there, and there's kind of like a gravel walkway that goes right under the incline that goes up next to Ruby Falls. And it's cool because like if you turn left, there's like a trail that goes through the woods and rocks. If you turn right, after you go past the incline bridge, there's a big loop with a bunch of boulders that you can climb up.
Yeah, it's like you can see all the chalk and everything.
Yeah,
from all the climbers and stuff.
Yeah, so if you go bouldering, I'd totally recommend that spot. Like I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm able to climb those things. There's
this cool garden with like this seance looking rock.
Yeah, I took a picture of our buddy Zach sitting in the middle like he was Baby Yoda in that one scene from The Mandalorian.
You should tweet that.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't tweet it, but I put it on like a Rebus story. But yeah, that's a long way of saying shout out to Russ / Taco and Zach and Nick, who we got to hang out with. Chattanooga is just about an hour and a half for us, so yeah, we need to spend more time. We were trying to twist Barry's arm into coming to see us, but he was a little tied up with something. Yeah. We'll see them next time. But yeah, for anybody new, we're talking about the guys from the What Podcast. We were in their neighborhood. Brad used to live over there, but he's down in New Orleans nowadays. But it was good to see Taco and hang out with him for most of the day. It was funny because, like, everywhere that we went into, he didn't even order anything. People would just walk up to him and be like, oh, hey, here you go. Hand him a PBR. And, like, we were sitting out in front of the Bitter Alibi, and his VW bus was parked out front. And, like, everybody would walk by and it's like, oh, I love it. Can we get a picture with it? You know, there's, like, a group of girls that want their picture with it. He looks over and he's like, that's why we got buses, man. But, yeah, that was a fun night. Okay, shall we get to our picks for the week? Yes, I think since we're just doing kind of a casual episode this week, how about we just pick one thing this week? All right, Charla is our co-host. She gets first dibs of picks on these, so I will go over to her first.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about my true crime podcast that I listen to. So everyone knows, or a lot of people know, that I'm into true crime podcasts. And a lot of people will text me or ask me for recommendations on good true crime podcasts to listen to. And I always tell them it really depends on your listening style, the type of things that you like to listen to. Personally, I don't like to listen to things that are really, really loud and, I hate to use this word, but really, really loud and obnoxious.
Who's obnoxious on our podcast?
Well,
right now, your dog is being obnoxious with a cough.
I'm so sorry. My dog, Little Bit, is being really super needy at the moment, and she's having reverse sneezes. So
she's okay.
She's fine, but
okay. Anyway,
that's what that noise was.
Who has an annoying podcast? Call them out.
I'm not going to call anybody out. No, I'm not going to call anybody out. But I don't like a lot of like.
Yes, she's right.
Do what?
This is for radiating positively only.
Yeah, exactly,
yes.
exactly.
Good.
But I don't
she
like
me out.
When somebody's trying to tell like a really horrible story and they're like cackling about it and they're like, ah, ha, ha, like that type of,
Oh, okay.
I tend to like podcasters that more or less really tell the story with respect and, a little bit of personality is fine. Excuse me, a little bit of personality is fine. It's absolutely fine. So there's this podcaster from the UK, these podcasters from the UK. It's 2 women, and they're called Red-Handed. And they're really, really good. They're very respectful. They're very good storytellers. They do give personality to it, but they're not over the top about it. And they have really, really great voices. So they're really, really good to listen to. And they tell the story really, really, really good. And they always tell the details about the story. So definitely check that out. Again, it's called Red-Handed. There is a podcaster from the U.S. I think he's from I want to say the Northeast or somewhere. Anyways, it's just one man telling the story, Trace Evidence. And he's just a very, very, very good storyteller in general. And he just tells the story, just basic telling of the story. And the podcast is really cool because he will tell the story. It's split into 2 parts. He'll tell the story in the first half. And then in the second half, he'll tell the theories of the story and give his opinions of, what may have happened. So really, if you don't want to hear all that, you can really kind of turn off the second half of it. So that's kind of cool. But he's just a really, really good storyteller and very always respectful of the victims and things like that. There's another podcast. It's from Australia. It's called Case File. And it actually has an anonymous host, which is cool.
Oh.
So I guess someone else writes it, and then this guy narrates it, and the narrator is so good. The voice is really spooky, but it's not so spooky you can't listen to it or anything. It's just really, really good. Again, just really good storytelling. And I like to listen to this one when I go to sleep at night. And it's just so good. And it's usually about an hour, and it gives the story. It's not just telling the story, but it's telling the story in a very detailed, very description, very movie-like quality to it. The sound is really good. The narration is just so good to it. So again, it really just depends on the style that you like, just what you like to listen to. Sometimes I'll try out a podcast for a little bit, and there's some that I just can't do. I don't like the podcasts that are start with the first episode and they don't finish for multiple episodes. Yeah. I like to do the one-off episodes personally. But again, it just depends on your style. So I guess that's my thing of the week.
What was that one podcast that turned into an Amazon show that was similar to what you're talking? Lore. Yes, that was interesting. I never listened to the actual podcast, but I watched some of the episodes on Amazon Prime with you guys. That was pretty cool.
That one is more on dark history.
Right.
That was cool though.
It's very interesting. I love Aaron Mahnke.
Creepy stuff.
He has a couple of books out, but his narration is really good.
It really is.
Hey, while she's talking about podcasts, what was that one that was related to that trippy Netflix show? We listened to it on the way to the beach last year. It was. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Duncan Trussell's Family Hour.
Yes.
And the show was an animated show done by the dude that did...
The Midnight Gospel.
Yeah. He did... The animator did Adventure Time.
Yeah. The show was kind of...
Pendleton Ward.
The show was kind of another version of the podcast where they took people talking about trippy things on the podcast and animated the stories. And that was where you would like this. It was one of the trippiest things I've ever seen. Yeah,
I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do another season.
Is the episode on death.
Ooh, okay. All right, we're going to go to the next lady of the house. Brooklyn, what is your pick for this week?
My pick for this week is a song called "Lunar Girl" by Tie Dye Kai, Oh. And Tie-Dye Kai, for those of you that don't know, he is usually an EDM artist. He opened for Space Jesus when Space Jesus played 2 years ago in Nashville, right before the pandemic. I really liked his style of EDM because it's kind of like chill, but then it can also get pretty intense at times, and I like that. It's like he has a wide range of music. But Lunar Girl isn't really an EDM song at all, I wouldn't say. He does his own vocals in it, and he also has a female vocalist in there too, so it's like a little cute duet song. It is spacey, but
it's like the low-key EDM, like I kind of like.
It's really cute. It's like a chill vibe, and he uses like an echo with it, and I'm sure he like did the track himself. But I really like him. He skateboards and everything. And
where's he from? Is he from Nashville?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We should find out. He would be a good pick for Bonnaroo, right?
He's getting bigger and bigger, and I hope big things are for him ahead.
With where that guy's at, I feel like he would be a really good Thursday pick for the other when we get back in June.
He's just some wook that does some good music.
I like how wook isn't really a derogatory term anymore. It's like a loving term for like.
I don't think it ever was a derogatory term.
Hey, you want to tell that stupid joke real quick?
Oh, how many wooks does it take to screw in a light bulb?
None, because it's already lit, fam. he likes that.
You couldn't have let me tell the joke?
No, it's a group joke that we tell as a group to other people.
Okay, yeah.
I've helped out some wooks before at a Shaky Knees Fest. They needed some water, and like the lady of their group tried to give me the water bottle back afterwards after they'd already sipped on it. I was like, I'm good.
You keep that. All right, Mike, you're up. What's your pick for this week?
It's an album. I've only listened to a couple tracks so far because it just came out this week. But it is the band Pawns.
Oh my God! You read my mind. This was going to be my pick.
I didn't mean to steal it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead. We can both talk about this.
It was essentially members of the group Tame Impala. Have their own band named Pawn. Yes. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with them.
They played at Roo a few years ago.
Yes, I would love to see them. My buddy was actually like up front and center. And Jay gave him, or somebody gave him the drumsticks after their show.
Yes.
What was that, Roo 2018?
It was 17 or 18. They all blur together for me sometimes. But yeah, one of those.
Yeah, it was the year that Anderson .Paak played too, because he said he saw Anderson .Paak later that day. But yeah, it's either that or it'd have to be that, or so I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. We're in an oversaturated music industry, I think, and there's stuff coming out all the time, and that's just something that is on my list right now.
So it's called 9 because it's their ninth album.
It's the ninth album. Yeah.
They went in a slightly different direction with this one. Like I think they got tired of being called like a Tame Impala soundtrack, so their side project. So now it's more of like a dance pop record than like a psych rock record.
Okay, cool.
Like the last two, was the one that they had out right before they played Roo was called The Weather, and that was very much of the same kind of like Tame Impala sound. The next one called Tasmania, after the state in Australia, and Tasmanian Devil and all that. That was a little different. It went a little bit more like kind of like in King Gizzard's direction. Nice. The other psych rock band out of Australia. But it was still similar to what Pawn had done. 9, the new album, is a lot different. Some of the songs don't sound like Pawn anymore, although it's still Pawn. It still sounds great. But yeah, I've only given it one listen all the way through, but I really have liked it. I think Tasmania is still my favorite. Have you listened to that one?
I've listened a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
Gosh, now I want to see King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
That's
King Gizzy and the Lizzy Wizzy.
So, real quick, since we're thinking about this. So the other night during the Tame show, and spoiler for the next minute or two for anybody that's going to go see them and wants to remain spoiler free, there was a part towards the end where they played an Interspeaker song and then totally went into a jam band section. I have seen them twice before, and I have been obsessed with this band. I have never seen Tame Impala jam and improvise like they did for about 5 or 10 minutes.
That's I know they kind of did the same thing whenever they re-recorded Interspeaker at the House of
the Wave House.
The Wave House,
yeah.
Yes. I know that essentially, I don't know, they did like a full drum breakdown and guitar riffs and the whole 9 yard, man. It was insane. I just hypes me up to see possibly Tame Impala on the bill next year, a year in the future, or King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for a late night set. Bonnaroo Gods, please.
What? No, if you're praying to the Bonnaroo Gods, I got one for you. What if you had an Australian psych rock super jam? If you had Pond, Tame, and King Gizzard just going all night as a super jam.
They would have to throw that on another stage other than this tent. I don't know, man.
I would die. I'm not saying I would die to see that. No, I would not survive that night. I would die.
We would end up in Australia. That's what would happen.
Yeah, we go through a portal. Oh, man. No, okay, so I'm really hoping that we do get King Gizzard next year. I think I saw that they have some other dates where it might not be possible.
I think what hindered them from being on any festival circuit or U.S.
COVID
tour.
BS.
Yeah, COVID, and it's a lot of travel restrictions between here and Australia, and it is just
Tame were lucky.
It was by the grace of the universe that Tame was able to get their entire however many pieces are in the band.
Well, I think Kevin was able to work some legal magic because he owns a place in Los Angeles, and he may have dual citizenship. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think he does.
Yeah. But King Gizzard is very Australian. I don't think they have a place in the U.S., so they can't pull that trick.
My buddy has been trying to see them for so long, and I'm getting right there with him.
King Gizzard, yeah.
But what I love about them is, I discovered them in 2017 when they dropped 5 studio albums. So, one of them's bound to catch your ear, right?
Did you listen to the new one, Butterfly 3000? It was a little bit more poppy.
Yes. Yeah. That's what, their sound is so versatile. They can go from, some folky, I don't know, farm rock or something to, psychedelic thrash metal.
Or, heavy, heavy metal.
Still my favorite album is Infest the Rat's Nest. That's...
Yeah. I met a guy the other night. We went to... Okay, so Mitchell from Rhetoric, we went to his birthday party. And there was a guy there that had seen him a number of times. Brooklyn introduced me to him. And he was saying that same thing. He says the thing about going to a King Gizzard show is you don't know what kind of show you're going to get because they might play a different set list based on the kind of crowd that they have there. So if they have people that they know their stuff really well, they might go deep. If it's somebody new, maybe a festival set for somebody that has never listened to them, they might play the new Butterfly 3000 stuff that's a little bit more accessible, right? So maybe that's what we would get if they were to come to Roo in the next year or two. I figured they are because they already had them booked.
If you're listening to this, King Giz, please play Gamma Knife from Infinity Nonagon. I have no idea, but Gamma Knife is the track. That's where I want to just thrash and I don't know, ride a skateboard, and I don't even know how to ride a skateboard, but I'd ride one.
That might be a deal breaker for Brooklyn. Well, if we are giving them requests, I want a half-hour jam session of Head On Pill. That was my introduction to them. I feel like it's the introduction for a lot of people. I love that silly, stupid song so much. It's different every time they play it, kind of, sort of. I want that, in this hypothetical super jam that we're describing. I want Kevin to join in on Head On Pill. I would. That would be it for me. I could never top that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Should I get my pick? You stole mine. I was going to talk about 9 from Pond. I love it very much. No, it's okay. It's okay. I had a backup. I guess I foresaw it or whatever. So today, me and Charlotte had a lazy Sunday, and I checked out this new Apple Plus show called Foundation. It's based on the old Isaac Asimov books. It's kind of weird that in the same month we're getting both Foundation and Dune, these new versions of old sci-fi books that are very much cherished. We're definitely going to go see Dune. We'll talk about that. I know that Ortaco is very excited about that too. He was trying to get me to read it. But Foundation, based on the old Asimov books, it's very deep. So I had never read any of those. I knew some of the concepts and things like that because there's a lot of modern sci-fi that's based on that steals ideas from it. I am 25% lost. For that 25%, I don't know what's happening, but for the other 75%, I am totally on board. It's a very deep mythological sci-fi. that deals with like different cultures and religions and things like that. But yeah, I'm down for it. I'm going to watch the whole thing. Well, you got something, Brooklyn?
Yeah, I was taking a nap after work one day, and I just put it on that Central Park show, and I guess it ended.
Yeah.
And I woke up, and Foundation was playing, and I heard like some lady saying Empire, and I saw some. Like,
You thought it was.
I saw some like ships that looked like Star Destroyers, and I was like, wait a minute, is there like a new
Star Wars?
live-action Star Wars thing that I don't know about? But it's just Foundation.
Well, I mean, I feel like Lucas probably stole some things from Asimov from that, Empire and things. I think Foundation is supposed to take place like thousands of years in our future or whatever, when like civilization has spread out, amongst the galaxy, and now there's some crazy stuff happening. I don't know. I feel like I got to read a lot of Wikipedia articles to truly understand everything that's happening in that show. Or maybe I can go back to the books one of these days. I don't know. But speaking of that kind of stuff, are we going to go see Dune here in a few weeks?
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about it. This is a big month for movies. We're going to go see James Bond on Thursday. Dune is coming out. There was another thing or two that's coming out.
Shang-Chi.
We still haven't seen that.
It's really good, by the way.
You saw it? Did you like it?
I'm a huge MCU person.
Oh yeah,
so
we are too. Yeah.
I had to go see it. Me and my buddies, we always typically try to go.
Yeah.
When the movie comes out, my buddy right now is talking about going to see Venom because he thinks eventually Disney's going to go ahead and put on that Infinity Gauntlet and buy all the assets of Spider-Man, and
maybe
you'll see Tom Hardy's Venom in the MCU probably.
I didn't even see the first one. Was it any good?
Yes, it was great.
I don't even like Sony's take sometimes on Spider-Man. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the Andrew Garfield
They were
movies.
okay. They were all right.
So I wasn't that thrilled to watch it, but watching it, I was like, okay, this is not bad. There was like some humor to it.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's kind of dark, but good. Like it's Venom, I guess.
I'll see it when it's streaming on something.
Yeah,
I guess.
It's a good play.
Yeah. I am excited about the other two things. I'm real excited about the Eternals.
Yes.
That comes out here in about a month.
They have 2 or 3 people from Game of Thrones in it?
Yeah, and the lady that directed Nomadland did this.
Okay,
so it's much more cinematic looking than a lot of MCU movies, which I love those movies, but a lot of them look pretty much the same.
Correct.
Except the Thor movies that Taika did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything by saying this about Shang-Chi, but it's really good, and it's a really good origin story for a hero.
Yeah.
But it follows kind of the same pattern of a Marvel movie. But,
yeah, they all have a formula.
There's nothing wrong with it by any means, but it definitely is a great origin story to launch us further into this next phase of the Marvel movies.
Okay, that's cool. That's the other reason I'm excited about the Eternals, because I feel like it's going to be very, 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 very different than these other things.
I think so too.
And I don't know how much you've heard about this new Spider-Man movie coming out in December, but it's going to be very,
I
very,
have
very,
seen
very
some stuff. I've seen some stuff.
Have you seen these rumors?
Alfred Molina.
Well, that's out because he's in the trailer.
Yeah, he's in the trailer. I think full on. I think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it.
I would be shocked if they weren't.
I've already seen. I saw a picture leak. It's just Tom Holland. That's all it is. It's just him standing out in a parking lot, and he's standing pointing.
The meme, like the meme.
Like the Spider-Man
meme.
He's pointing in 2 different directions.
If that isn't in the movie, what is the point of even doing that movie?
I agree.
Yeah, if they're not doing the pointing thing.
But and I think a main focal point for the future of the MCU is going to be Doctor Strange.
It's the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, he is going to be pretty much the new Tony Stark, if you will.
Oh yeah, they're basically the same guy.
If you really think about it. They both played Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. So. Why was there not a scene in Infinity War where they were actually together, where one of them was like, "No shit, Sherlock."
Yeah, that would have been great.
But no, okay. So the last 10 years of Marvel movies, it's the Infinity Stones. This section is like the multiverse.
Multiverse and King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was in Loki, so everybody knows that now. Yeah.
My friend the other day was asking me, he's like, they're making a show about Loki, and I'm like, bro, they already made a show about Loki.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Which one of these shows was your favorite?
Loki.
I like them all. I feel like they could all use more episodes, but I feel like I'm watching a quick 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
And I a lot of people are complaining about having to wait week to week, but it's kind of like
why not? That's cool.
I don't know. It's kind of like the old times, early 2000s, 90s, 80s, when you're having to wait weekly to watch an episode.
I had to wait a week to watch new episodes of the Power Rangers back in the 90s, man. Yeah, so, you kids now don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you can't just binge watch an entire thing. Yeah. You forget it by then, you know? So
I miss Sundays when we would get together and watch Game of Thrones, and then we'd stand up and scream when something drastic happens.
We haven't really had like a huge show like that.
King of the North.
Well, I mean, think about it. Since Game of Thrones, do you remember there was 2 or 3 years there where the finale of that season of Game of Thrones would play on Sunday at Bonnaroo? I guess that was before your time, but back in the day, they played the finale on a screen at one of the tents one year.
Nice.
And we were at the show. Hoover was playing that night. We didn't go because we were going to just watch it at home the next day. But like, I heard stories about a lot of people going to the tent, and I think it was. I mean, spoilers for Game of Thrones. You know, something's been off the air for 3 or 4 years now. I think it was the episode where Jon Snow got killed off, and everybody's watching that in the tent at Bonnaroo. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably lose it.
Yeah.
I actually got caught up on Game of Thrones like 8 months before the final season started airing. So I kind of got into the fandom quick and left it quick. So, I mean, it's great. I feel like they could have just put that last season into like 9 or 10 episodes rather than 6 or 7. But anyways, I think we all have an opinion on that. So
oh, well, we could go all day about that. Yeah. What is this show that's taken over for Game of Thrones that everybody is talking about, though? Maybe one of these like Marvel shows? I mean, everybody was talking about WandaVision for a little bit there, but that was just one season.
Loki.
Yeah. There's not the one show that comes back every year that everybody's like treating like the Super Bowl.
I think they've already confirmed Loki for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's coming back.
Loki was the best in my opinion.
Everybody's kind of talking about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I was going to say at work every Monday morning, everybody talks about Ted Lasso.
Did you watch the new one yet? Because we did.
No.
Okay, I won't tell you anything then.
I still have not watched it. I did start watching What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes, you like it. You like it.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, I'm a big sports nerd, and I follow the Los Angeles Rams on Instagram, and they had what's his face, the guy that plays Ted Lasso, I guess.
Sudeikis. Yeah.
They had him and some other people, and they gave them Rams jerseys, and
that's cool.
It says Lasso on the back of it. And,
that was really cool.
So I definitely need to pick that up. It's on what, Apple TV or Amazon Prime?
Apple TV? Not that I need to advertise for one of the biggest companies in the world or anything, but it's a pretty good deal because it's just like $5 a month. And I think if you have
a new device,
if you get a new phone or whatever, you get a year for free. But I also got a deal. I got 6 months for free through PlayStation somehow.
Sweet.
I just opened it up and it was like, would you like 6 months of free Apple TV Plus? I'm like, yeah, there's all kind of good stuff on there. The other thing that I would recommend is there's this travel show with Ewan McGregor on there called Long Way Up.
Yeah.
It's like he's done this twice before, but him and his buddy rode electric Harley Davidson motorcycles all the way up from the southern tip of South America back to L.A. There's like 6 episodes, and it's beautifully shot with like drones and stuff, like all in South America. Yeah, it's amazing.
I love Ewan McGregor. Even though he was not the Obi-Wan that goes, hello there.
He did that. So the funny thing about that, it's a documentary show, so I'm not really spoiling anything. Sometimes people would recognize him, like even though he looks different than Obi-Wan now. Like, they would look at him, or then he would start doing lines just so, like, they would know who he was. He was eating at this dude's house, and he was like, he didn't speak English or whatever, but he's, like, looking at Ewan McGregor like, I know you, or whatever. And he's like, use the Force, or whatever. And he's like, trust your feelings. And he's like, yes! It was amazing. But, yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I just love Ewan McGregor, man.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah.
That Obi-Wan series...
I can't wait.
Be amazing. I bet he finds the underground Jedi temple, like lost, forgotten. Have you ever like read about? There's like a secret underground, like long and forgotten Jedi temple under the surface of Tatooine.
What? I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's like my buddy. He's read literally every single book, even if the ones that are not canonical or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't anymore.
Yeah. But. That may be a possibility because all I know is that it picks up right after he drops Luke off. It is on
yes. So it's something with that. I'd rather go spoiler free. I don't want to know what happens. Right. I have a general idea. Brooklyn's got something. What's up?
My favorite new thing on Disney Plus is Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, we talked about that. Have you watched some? I've watched another one.
I've watched every single one of them, and I can't pick a favorite because they're all just amazing. I love anime and I love Star Wars.
There's 2 or 3 I haven't seen yet. Have you seen any of those yet, Mike?
Yeah, I've seen like the first 4 or 5. Still the very first one. I think you were talking about it on last week's episode.
Yeah.
That one still like out of the
the first one with the black and white samurai.
The handful I've seen, that is still the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I would like to see a whole series based on that one.
I liked the one with the lightsabers. The lightsaber smith.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Oh, you need to see it.
Okay. What was it called? Do you remember?
The ninth one.
The ninth?
The ninth Jedi.
I haven't seen that. All right, I'll check that one out. Okay. That was all of our picks. You know what? I had some other stuff that I thought we might go over, but we've gone for like 45 minutes now, so we'll save it for next time. I feel like you might be at the house again before too long.
I would be honored.
Yes. And I'll say this on the podcast. I know we got a lot of listeners, so I may regret this, but like I've told a lot of people this privately, but if you are in the Huntsville area, if you're coming over for a show or something else that's in town, hit us up privately. Anybody in Roovian is welcome to use the Roo bus as an overnight thing free of charge if you want to just hang out with us. Am I going to regret that, Charles?
No, I don't think so. No.
That goes for any Roovian. Yeah, I mean, we're all friends here. So I've told Mike this. I've told some other people this. So I might as well tell you guys this too. Just hit me up privately for more details. There's some other stuff I wouldn't want to broadcast publicly on a podcast that goes out to a lot of people. So just hit me up. We have a show next week too.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that we can see some Roovians at Modest Mouse next Monday or Tuesday at Mars Music Hall.
I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday? Yeah, I think you're right. I'm very excited about that. I saw them at Sloss.
No, it's next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday. Saw them at Sloss years ago. It was a fantastic show. I know I've heard mixed things about them. Sometimes they say that like you're going to get either a terrible show from them or a great show from them. I'm sure we're going to get a great show. So if you're a Roovian, you're listening to this, and you're going to be at that Modest Mouse show, hit us up. Me and Brooklyn will be there. I'd love to hang out. All right. Anything else from anybody before we start to sign off?
Radiate positivity.
Oh, yes. We all
Peace
know
and
that.
love. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Anything else, Charles?
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
You feel like you're forgetting something?
Hoop nugget.
Oh, got to send a shout out to the lovely Miss Chloe. Shit I Eat at Festivals and also with the Bonner Rooster. She bought me a beer for the Tame Impala show.
She did. She bought us some beers.
She messaged us and was like, "What's your Venmo?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And she got me a beer because she was thinking about me at the Tame show. And I'm just... And by the way, a lot of people reached out to me just checking in with me to make sure I had a good time at that show. Thank you so much. I joked about this. I always wondered what I would feel once I finally got to see Tame after the pandemic and all this. I would have preferred for it to be at Roo, but I was like 2 or 3 songs in, and I was like, the thing that I was feeling most was gratitude for everybody that's gotten their vaccine to help make things like this happen. People who work their tails off to make sure that we can go to big events again. It should have been Roo. But Mike, I guess I can speak for both of us. Charlie, you too, since you were there. That like
science is real.
Yeah,
truth and reason is real.
Yes, I was so grateful that we have gotten to the point where I could be in a situation where I could see my favorite band with a lot of people again, and just very, very, very thankful. And I'm thankful that we will get a chance to see them and many others at future Roos too. 7 months? From now, June?
7 or 8.
I can't math right now. Yeah, something like that.
Time is a concept. Have you taken your Rushium today?
The time is now.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was the deal. It was like, well, I can't give spoilers, but yes, if you're going to a Tame show, you'll see for yourself. That was fun. All right, guys, I think that's it for this week. Catch us next week. We'll have another guest on. We'll do some fun stuff. Until then, get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you soon.